Jeffrey wishes for an easy life. And so he looks at you weird when he sees you striving for discomfort. Jeffrey sees you voluntarily going for a run when it's raining. That is weird. He sees you going to the gym, grunting as your muscles burn. That's weird. All of self-improvement is weird to Jeffrey. But Jeffrey doesn't realize that we don't want a life like him. We want a life like Adonis, the man that symbolizes strength and discipline and masculinity. Gather round, bro. We're gonna talk about life. I want to organize some kind of event, like a meetup, like a camping trip, or like I don't know, something that I've been visualizing. Like, imagine us, all the boys coming together. We've lit like a big campfire. We just sat around telling stories of our lives and our hopes and dreams and our fears. This is all very new to me, like lighting candles, and like I've got this incense stick over here as well, so that this is like a smelling one. So you light this one on fire and then the smoke of it smells quite nice. I'm getting like really vibey here, bro. This is sweet. This is sick, mate. Do you know what the most beautiful part of manhood is? At least this is my current belief. That a hard life, like hard experiences and discomfort, are actually good things. That we as men grow through discomfort. Said before, this is probably like one of my quotes that is quoted the most. You know, people write it in comments. Comfort is the killer of man. Maybe I stole that from someone, but I think maybe it's from me. Comfort is the killer of man. And trust me when I say every technological advancement is made to make your life more comfortable. And it's such a weird thing to strive for discomfort, to strive for a harder life. There's a quote that comes to mind from, I think, Bruce Lee, or someone, you know, someone motivational, who says like, don't hope for an easy life, pray for the strength to bear a hard one. We used to hear quotes like this from successful, masculine, strong men and not really learn their lessons until you go and experience it for yourself. So maybe, just maybe, you aren't at that level where you can truly see, okay, a hard life is actually a good thing. You still want somewhat of like an easy life. Of course, you know, it sounds great, but maybe you're at that point in your self-improvement journey where you've actually started going out there more. And you know what, no matter which point of your self-improvement journey you're on, you need to make some hard decisions. Because if we picture, let's say, like a guy who's totally lived like a Jeffrey for all of his life, and he's got the consequences of that, and he's literally obese, and he's got all these like health problems, like, you know, heart disease or something. It's easy for him to continue life like that. It's easy for a young man to continue watching porn. It's easy for another guy to continue smoking weed every day. The harder thing is to delay gratification for your future self. Sam is connected to the Bluetooth. I've got a speaker here listening to like calming music. Really enjoying this like nighttime vibe that I've set up here. I'm in Thailand. I've got candles. I don't know why this means a lot to me, man. I'm not usually someone who like sits around to like enjoy things like this, and I've got like candles, I've got matches and incense sticks, and I've got like a nice little drink here, got music playing. I haven't done this too much in my life, to just sit around and, you know, create like a nice sort of peaceful environment where you're really setting it up. But when I think about the last few weeks here, I've been traveling. I'm so far away from home. This is the longest I've ever been away from home, actually. I'm a month and a week away now, living in Koh Samui in Thailand. The longest I've ever been away from like the UK was 1 month before this, and this is now the longest time. And it's been hard here in certain areas. Because imagine having your entire routine. Imagine you're such a routine kind of guy. You follow like this strict like morning routine, nighttime routine and everything, and, you know, do X at this time, read at 10 a.m, record videos, or, you know, do work at 12 o'clock, go to the gym at 1 p.m. You're so used to a set routine, and then you throw yourself into the deep end. Things are harder now. Things are harder, but you feel better. It's so interesting that as a man, the way that we feel like deep down inside of us isn't as fickle as it seems to me that women's emotions are. Like it seems for me that a man can feel sadness, he can feel anger, he can feel the discomfort of challenges, and yet we can feel all that, but we still inside of us feels positive and aligned to some greater purpose. Because we as men, we focus on the mission, we focus on purpose, we focus on like deep, fulfilling work, meaningful work where we feel like we are valued. The harder that work, as long as you can manage it, the harder that work, the better you feel. Is it no doubt that the majority of young men don't feel great about themselves because they aren't doing meaningful work. If you ask a normal guy like in your class or someone you know, what's your purpose? He's probably not even going to understand what that means. If you ask him, what's your mission? He's going to think you're cringe. Oh, mission impossible. He's going to say some stupid shit. And it's sad seeing that. Like, I really, really care about like men's issues. I always have, just naturally. That was like how my brain and my body, my heart used to be, even before I really was attuned to this. Even when I was in high school, it was like I was picking up on like these injustices that were happening to men and these problems that like only men were facing, and it was always like important in my mind and in my body. And visualizing my generation, that the majority of young men are just down bad, living like, it's so weird. Okay, they live easy lives in a sense of like, oh, you know, we'll watch porn and eat junk food and, you know, just do whatever pleasure you want. But their lives aren't easy anyway. They take those easy choices, but they have the hard life because of that. You get onto holistic self-improvement, you want to become more like Adonis. You take those harder choices. With those harder choices, your life seems easier, like more aligned. There's that quote which is in my mind. It's like, easy choices, hard life, hard choices, easy life, something like that. But I think where it gets the most interesting with this, you know, this debate of like, okay, most people live like this, but we can live like this, where it gets most interesting is based on fun and enjoyment. Because really, we can argue the only reason to live a normal life of pleasure, of indulgence, of watching porn and playing video games and eating junk food and, you know, just messing around with life is for fun and enjoyment. But you know it. We live this life. Where are we having more fun and enjoyment? On the new life. Because when you have a fun, enjoyable experience, when you're not hurting your future self, when you're actually helping your future self, and it's like very beautiful. Like right now, there's no consequences to my future self of me recording this video and just be like in this nice vibe with peaceful music and everything, is there? If anything, this is like a productive thing for me right here, right now, isn't it? I'm having fun. There's no thoughts in my mind as I say these words. I'm totally in a present flow. And just 2 years ago, I was living like the ultimate sort of like fun lifestyle that so many young men want. I was a full on, like, let me just move this. These are quite nice. Smells like, I don't really know. It said what the smell was, like jasmine or something, I don't know. But just a few years ago, I was living the full-on like party boy lifestyle. I was taking a lot of drugs and I was doing like a lot of like degenerate, you know, going out late and sleeping with girls. And like, you think, okay, that's like, you know, the height, that's the like the ultimate experience. So many guys think that that's like the ultimate experience. I literally get comments from people saying like, no, Hamza, you experienced the life of like taking drugs and partying and getting girls, so like, you know, you can't tell us not to. The life of instant gratification, of pleasure. I experienced that life. What many men believe is like the height of existence. You know, your early 20s are going to be the best time of your life, so make sure you enjoy it. I enjoyed it, and I'm telling you, the life of holistic self-improvements, this movement that you see in front of us, the life of delaying gratification for your future self, is so much more fun. And it's fun with this like wholesome, healthy feeling inside of you, where you have this like this acknowledgement that I'm having a very good time here, and there's no bad consequences because of this. One of the problems with having fun in the normal way is that you always have this underlying thought in your mind where it's like, oh yeah, this is bad for me. Eating this junk food is bad for me. It's more calories my future self has to burn off. So the people who live that normal life, they can't live it truly, can they? When you go out and partying and drinking a lot, like they all know, okay, well, I'm gonna be hungover tomorrow. My future self is gonna hate me for this. I'm setting up my future self for pain, for self-hate, but it's really fun right now. But when you flip that around and you prioritize your future self and you actually strive for discomfort, you strive for the harder choice. Hard times create strong men. You strive for that hardest choice. One of the phrases me and Sam say to each other is, take the harder choice. Anytime there's like a choice between two meals that we're thinking of, you know, like you get the menu in a restaurant. There's always one which is like harder in the sense of like, oh, it's healthier and it's going to make your life better tomorrow, but it's not as tasty today. Always choose that one. Choose that decision which is harder today, but your future self will thank you for it, because sooner or later you become your future self, and you're going to hope that your younger self has done things for you. You're going to hope that your younger self took that harder choice so that your life is better and more set up, so that you can continuously keep taking harder choices for now your future self, and do this for a long time, for months, for years, for decades, and all you have is an entire life where you literally have this feeling of like so much self-love and gratitude for your younger self who put in the work for you. I sit here today with almost my ultimate dream physique. I'm natural, and this has not been an easy journey. I'm one of those like hard gainer kind of guys who naturally like skinny fat and just weak, really weak when I first started. I sit here today with like a body that I consider like so fucking good. And in the modern day, we're not allowed to say things like that. We're not allowed to like compliment ourselves, but bro, what the fuck? Like, I fucking love the way that I look, and like when I see myself, when I'm in the gym, and I literally I'm literally so fucking happy, because I'm thinking like, this isn't just because of today. For the last 7 years, my younger self went to the gym even when he didn't feel like it. When I think back to 17-year-old Hamza, there's a lot of like negative things we could say about him. He was weak, he was a coward, he was insecure, he was lazy, he was unproductive, he would procrastinate a lot, and yet, even with all that, he went to the gym for me. This gives you this level of self-love that makes the Jeffreys of the world think that you're arrogant and you're egotistical and you're so full of yourself. And look at him, he's boasting about how successful he is, and they'll say these things because they can't feel it themselves, because they keep stripping their future self of that self-love. But when you commit to self-improvement and you really focus on delaying gratification, taking that harder choice today instead of tomorrow, you can't help but just feel this level of like this gratitude. Like, I love myself, and I especially love the younger version of me. I'm realizing more and more that life as a man is all about just taking that harder choice as many times as possible. To some, that seems like a very bad existence, like a whole life of hard choices. But to others, perhaps with like a masculine core, like masculine kind of energy inside of us, we understand that taking hard choices constantly is gonna leave us feeling more and more and more fulfilled. That's what I hope for you. There's a hard choice in your mind that you should take today. Maybe it's a long-term choice, maybe it's as simple as just what you should do right now as this video ends, whether it's go to the gym or clean your room or do that work. Take that harder choice and just see how you feel afterwards. See how you feel about your younger self who decided to take that harder choice today. Do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it.
Mwah.